This episode was interesting and kind of disturbing too, with some of the things going on with Hisoka. But at least he's part of the team now, I guess. Hunter x Hunter, episode 68, Pirates and Guesses. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and 50-something-year-old women that look like they're 14 of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and intricately woven tale of Hunter x Hunter. Now, our last episode, of course, saw us with Gon, Killua, and Bisky, along, of course, with with several others that they had teamed up with, several other teams and what have you, actually going and trying to find out where they can actually obtain one of these cards. The oh, for Christ's sakes, what is it? Something shore, patch of shore, puncher shore, patch of shore. That's it. God, forget some of the names of them, and I apologize for that. So they're trying to obviously get this patch of shore game. The lead that they wound up getting told them that they needed to find Razor and his 14 pirates, or 14 devils as they were referred to in the end of the episode, was them actually all kind of like bursting into this tavern-like dimly lit place, and looking like they're about to throw down with these, I guess, pirates or what have you. So that's where the episode left off, and this is where this episode actually picks up right at that point. And what winds up happening is we find out very quickly that Razor, their boss, is actually not there, but this giant burly beast of a guy, one of these guys didn't really introduce him or give his name or anything like that. He says, all right, tell you what. He goes and he pours some liquor on the ground in a circle and lights it on fire, stands in the circle and says, if anyone can move me outside of this circle, I'll take you to see our boss, right? So one guy, for the good team, I guess you would say, comes up and he's like, I got this, and goes up, tries to move him, can't do it. The big guy goes and takes him over while bear hugging him and holds him over by the ring of fire before he drops him out, doesn't drop him out of it, and actually starts letting his foot burn and get on fire. Gon winds up jump kicking the dude in the face and, saying, what the hell, he gave up, let him go. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter, that wasn't the rules. The rules were, if you go outside the ring, you lose, right? It doesn't say anything about giving up or if I burn somebody or hurt somebody or whatever. And Gon, of course, is disqualified as well because he winds up, jump kicking the guy in the face, jumping kind of into the ring to kick him and then jumping out, landing outside of. So anyway, as Gon's begging for another chance, Killua was like, don't worry about it, I got this, right? So Killua goes over to the bar, grabs himself a pint of Jack Daniels or whatever, and jumps, spills it on this dude's head, and then all in one fell swoop with the other hand while he's in midair goes and ignites his head with the liquor on it, of course, with his electricity power. Dude's head's on fire, and he's like, goes running outside the circle, smashing his head into the wall to put it out, and then gets up and tries to go and attack Killua, and one of his own guys goes and takes him out, kicks him, and says, hey, you made up the rules. We'll go to take you to see our boss now. So the next portion of it is, and it's kind of weird. Sometimes things go in an odd direction in this series, and other times I just scratch my head, You're thinking that there's going to be this big showdown and what have you. They get taken to this house on the bluff, on this cliff or whatever, and because basically they're trying to run everybody out of town, right? Which is what they got to do to get this card. And they wind up meeting Razor, and Razor, of course, was introduced a few chapters ago, and as he repelled the Phantom Troop from actually reaching Greed Island from the outside world, right? And he, said that he was one of the creators of the game and everything else. Anyways. So Razor's in this gym, and all these guys are kind of hanging out. Looks like a boxing type gym. And he says, listen, this is what we'll do. We'll go and we're going to play a series of games, and they're going to be like one-on-one contests, sport type contests that, we pick or whatever. You match up whoever you want against us, and whoever gets to, and there's going to be 1 win per contest. Whoever gets to 8 wins first, winds up winning, right? And if you win, we'll leave town, right? And they're like, well, what happens if you win? And I'm like, nothing. You just got to leave here, right? So anyway, so as it is, it's difficult enough to put together a party of 15 to be able to get this patch of shore card and everything else, all the different requirements that you got to meet. What winds up happening, though, is within the first round, they wind up seeing that they're completely overmatched, right? These guys are used to probably being challenged, and I don't know whether some of them are NPCs within the game and some of them are actual people like Razor, or a combination of both. The bottom line is that very quickly, Gon and Killua's the sharp one, it seems like in this particular case. He winds up figuring out very quickly that they have no chance with the team that they have. So they basically just throw the games. and wind up losing very quickly. And then as everybody's kind of talking outside, you know, Asta, I think her name was that her name, Asta? Yeah, Asta. You know, her and her group are like, that's okay, we're gonna leave. Our only goal was to make sure that somebody couldn't get this, you know, this patch of shore card that, you know, that Genthru's group couldn't get it, and he can't. He's no ways gonna be able to get a team of 15 people together and everything else, so it's safe, you know, and that's all we needed. So they take off. Bunch of the other teams take off too, and it winds up just being Gon and Killua and Bisky and this one other guy, you know. So then they go in, and the rest of the episode is really them going and figuring out how they're gonna get more players and who they can get. So Gon remembers when looking on his list, when he pulls the contact card out and looking at his list of met players, that Crollo Lucifer was on there, right? Now, clearly, we know it's not Crollo Lucifer and that it's Hisoka, but they don't know that. They assume it's somebody impersonating him, maybe one of the Phantom Troop members. They wind up using, you know, not the contact, but the actual teleporter company, whatever the hell that card is they have where they can go and get beamed to him, teleported, right? They teleport to him, and who do they see? And this is probably one of the most uncomfortable scenes in the anime that I've ever seen, because you joke around about Hisoka and how he's a pedophile clown, and there's been a couple of things, like with his match with Gon, he was like, swing, and all this other stuff that were just over the top, like, yeah, I like to touch children. But this one takes the cake, man. First of all, Hisoka's standing there, and they can see him off in the mist, and he's bathing in a lake, and he's butt naked, right? So he turns around, and they show these artful shots from, like, you know, just, like, right above his winky up, you know, a couple of different pan shots up, right? And you know, everybody except for Bisky is kind of trying to, like, you know, look away and not really pay attention. Hisoka's got no shame. He's just like, oh, hey, right? And so anyway, so Bisky's over there, obviously staring at his junk, staring at his package, you know, the pale pedo clown that he is. He winds up getting dressed afterwards, and they basically tell him what the deal is. They're like, listen, you know, we need your help, blah, blah. And then they're like, why are you here? And he doesn't want to tell them that he's actually here to go and find this Nen, Guru, whatever, that can actually remove Kurapika's Nen that was placed on Crollo Lucifer, so he can actually fight him, because he knows that they'll try to go and stop them from doing that, right? From finding this Nen Sage or whatever the hell it is. You know, so he winds up lying, and he says that he's actually there because the Phantom Troop is there, and he's looking for them, and so he used the name Crollo Lucifer. He basically just weaves his story of bullshit, right? He agrees to come with them, though, and fight, because they say what they need him for, right? And he's like, sure, whatever, I'll fight. And they want to go and look for more strong people. So they got to go, he suggests going to the city of Ayada, I think it is. Aya. And it's the city of love, right? And on the way there, they're walking, and you've gon and Killua walking in front, and Hisoka walking behind them. And they, for like 5 seconds, they got this shot where he's just looking at Gon and Killua's ass. Like, and just how they're walking and moving up and down, right? And they can just feel it, you know? So, although it was comical, it was still just like that. It was that comical type of, like, pervy, make you feel uncomfortable sort of thing. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. So they go and they notice it, and they're just like, that's it, Hisoka, you're walking in the front from now on. So it's kind of like, okay, all right, now we know full out that, you know, this guy really is. He's a guy that drives around in the ice cream truck, and he winds up, you know, kids go missing in the summertime when he's out and about. So he's definitely just a weird, sick, mentally disturbed individual that also happens to be very strong and have some very cool Nen powers as well, right? With his texture surprise bungee gum. Anyways, as the episode progresses on and they get to this city of love, they wind up finding out that it's pretty much like a Sims dating game type deal, because there's a bunch of these different, like, cliched type NPCs. The girl that's being harassed by 3 guys, another person who, like, you know, knocks into you and then says, oh, why did you do that? And gets you to, like, apologize, and just all these type of things that basically create these relationships, like relationship and dating type situations. So Killua knows something's going on because, number one, Bisky, to begin with, wound up picking up on Hisoka lying. She's like, I've been lying for 50 years. I can spot when we can spot our own. Killua starts to go through in his mind an inner monologue and go, okay, there's no way that Hisoka just showed up here and is just wandering around doing nothing and hasn't met any of the troop members yet. There's got to be something that he's hiding, right? Otherwise, he would have stayed in the city of Macedora. He would have tried to gather information. He would know about spell cards, and he knows none of this shit, right? He's just literally just hanging out there, it seems like, you know, bathing butt naked in the middle of the forest, you know, in the mist. So, so anyway, as they go in, and they just say, let's get the hell out of here. As they go outside and they leave, they're like, you know what? Maybe we should contact Segura, right? And if we can, you know, so they ask Hisoka, because they haven't met him inside the game yet. They don't know where to find him, of course. And they're like, even if he doesn't want to team up with us, it'd be good to at least have him on our contact list of somebody that we can, you know, talk with, potentially trade with, whatever we need to do. It's a good move, right? So he goes and he says, you know, he says, Hisoka, so the Killua the whole time is like just completely inside his head, like, okay, I can't tell Gon right now. He's inner monologuing about what's going on. And he's just kind of like, all right, just these thoughts inside his head, like, all right, I can't tell Gon and let on because then Hisoka will know and he won't help us if he knows we're onto him. So anyway, as they walk out there, Gon, and they suggest doing this, contacting Sagara, Gon says to Hisoka, says, hey, let me see your book. Let me see that, you know, if you run across him or whatever, so we can obviously warp to him or contact him or what have you, right? So Hisoka's like, okay. And as he goes and opens it, Killua's like, yeah, we got him now, because if he doesn't want to show us the list, we know he must have met some of the Phantom Troop members, and if he has, it'll show it on here, and if he doesn't want to show us, we'll know he's lying, right? So Killua's going through all this shit in his head, and Hisoka's just like, okay, go ahead and look, you know? And Gon looks at it, and sure enough, there's Sagara, and he gives him the card, and he says, okay, say this, say contact on, you know, and this and that, we'll do the rest. And that's really where the episode ends, but we wind up seeing some little bit of like inner thoughts as well from Hisoka, and Hisoka's got his fingers behind his back, you know, like kind of crossed and using his nen or whatever, and he's like, yeah, my texture surprise is very useful, because obviously we know that he has met other Phantom Troop members or Phantom Troop members within the game, but he was obviously able to cover them up and whatnot. So it was an interesting episode. I'm not going to say that I enjoyed it that much or that it was my favorite, because honestly, I was thinking that when they got to Razor and his group there, that there was going to be a number of these really cool kind of one-on-one face-off type games where these different characters, you know, would obviously face off in these contests, and there'd be some wins, some losses. The problem with that is that you only have characters like Gon, Killua, and Bisky that have actually been fleshed out a little bit. All these other background characters that were with them, these other 15, they're just background noise, that's all. We've had absolutely no characterization or development on those characters, so just like Genthru and his guys, it's kind of like, all right, how are you really supposed to identify with, love, hate, whatever, these characters if you don't know anything about them? I mean, many of them weren't even introduced even by just their name. There was only just a couple, a handful, you know, and then they were there, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're leaving, bye. So that's the only thing that I don't like, and I don't know if maybe the manga does a better job of describing some of these characters in the anime, just for, you know, purposes of trying to cut through, you know, slower parts or things they may deem as boring or whatever. You know, the anime just doesn't kind of flesh out some of that stuff. I'm not really positive, but anyway, that's where the episode ends off over here, and at least now we know that that Hisoka has teamed up with them, and hopefully that'll work out well moving forward. So my episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts on Hisoka and him, of course, at least temporarily teaming up with and helping Gon and Killua and Bisky and that other guy, I forget his name, within the game over here? Let me know what your answer to that question is in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Oh, me love Nami. Oh, me love Nami. Oh, me love Nami. Me love you long time.
Hey, subscribe to my other channels and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well, please.